Everybody, welcome to the International Women's Day Special Month series for entrepreneurs. Yes, friends, we are interviewing weekly one entrepreneur across the globe who is doing some special work. So today we are having somebody special who is known as the queen of productivity and performance. She is Sabrina Runbeck from USA. So Sabrina is very special in her work because she's doing something which is for especially for health professional. She became an international keynote speaker and best-selling author helping healthcare business owners to heighten and sustain their performance so they can get to what they love to and do not just do their obligations. She's still practicing surgically and empowering other healthcare professionals to win in both work and life. Having 10 years experience in public health and neuroscience, Sabrina she's having that skill which she can really empower the health professionals how to increase their productivity in work. So yes, welcome Sabrina to the show.
Hi, Jaru. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm honored to be in this special series for our International Women's Day and Women's Empowerment Month. I know all you ladies out there and the gentlemen who support us ladies. Thank you so much for opening your ears and be in a position to be open-hearted, open mind to hear us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. So Sabrina, I'm so eager to know. Please share in detail about yourself.
Thank you so much for asking. I grew up typical Asian family. I'm an
Okay.
only child, a girl. All my other cousins are male. And that what means is your parents and your grandparents see you as, oh, be cute, do your school, get good grades, eventually you get a job and you get married, you're set for life. And I'm thinking, why should the male continue on the family name and do your stuff? I am as smart as you are. So of course, I end up getting 2 bachelor degrees, 2 master degrees, and finally get a medical license and got into one of the most competitive field in medicine, which is heart and lung surgery, and in a very reputable hospital across the country and internationally where people actually fly to us to get operated on their heart and lung and even
Wow.
transplant. And I thought, hey, this is it, right? I made it. And I think many people thought I made it as well. But that also led to the competitiveness within yourself. You better do it extra. If you leave first and you are the weakling, if you didn't see that late consult 6 o'clock at night, you better prep this because no one would do it. And if you don't do it, you're seeing as, oh, you don't know how to take care of your patients. And so all these are lies we created for myself. Now, I remember very clearly one morning, 8 o'clock around that time,
Okay.
I'm already exhausted because I was on call the night before.
Yeah.
And my body was feeling achy and weak, and my hands were even cramping. I had a fever of 101 degrees.
Oh.
Now, it wouldn't been so bad except that I was standing in front of a patient with my hands inside of his open chest, trying all that I have just to concentrate on finishing those cases. And for our hard cases, anybody who are not in the field, they're at least 4 hours long. And you don't get to leave and take a break. So typically, I'm someone who's like laughing, listen to music, talking to all the team members. And that day I was quiet. And so, of course, the scrub nurses realized, oh,
Something is
Sabrina's quiet.
wrong. Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Wrong.
So they have our nurses keep passing Dayquil and cough drop under my mask just to keep me going because they can hear me coughing away over there.
Oh.
And the next morning, I was covered with night sweat, can barely just get out of bed to grab a glass of water. And I had to convince myself at the time, I guess I couldn't do it. I guess someone had to step in to my place. So I got on a call to call my boss. And his response was, oh, you couldn't tell us this sooner? Now I have to find someone to replace you for the
Oh.
cases? Now, I feel like my story is not even unique. women especially tend to say yes to so many things that are robbing your precious time, energy, and sanity. Now, we continue to do this because we feel like we ought to be in a position to put those extra weight on our shoulder, despite of whether they align with our value system or not. And that's truly what trap us, what make us stuck and not able to perform in the level that we can tap into our full potential, and not feeling so much an emotional roller coaster of what I'm joyful, I'm doing and going in my job and going in my life, and the next day things start falling through the cracks. So I realized, even though I was complaining, and I complained probably too much, and those things won't help me, because we keep looking for what? External validation, external support, instead of looking into myself saying, I did this to myself, actually. I'm the one who threw the rock into the river, and all that ripple effect of what people demanding me, looking me as a number, not looking me as a machine. If I can do it, why would they hire someone else? Why would they want to delegate? Why would they want to expect any less? So guess what? I had to go back to my own root, right? Like my root was neuroscience. My thesis was on music therapy, how to use this one African hand drum to reduce stress. And then when I advanced to public health, before I went into the medical route, I was doing self-care, self-efficacy, and health literacy. And what I found that time is also the higher we believe in our ability to do something, we can do it better. And it's not about doing all the things we try to be conscious with. It's actually just focus on one thing, and then everything else comes. So now this research has been multiplied in many different ways. So I also did is I need to train myself. Clearly my research is theory-based. I need to adapt into life. So I also learned from other peak performers, positive psychologists, cognitive neuroscientists to put together now a simple 6-step system. For me, now I can say, I am in love with surgery. I'm still operating, and I help other people in my shoes in healthcare step to lead, or people who realize I can have a business of my own in a way that I do things, serve my people without the big organization, so I can create that freedom. But if you're gonna create that freedom, let's not turn your passion into a poison, right?
Wow.
So where I am right now, I'm working 5 days a week and able to do both. And I think that's something people always love to talk to me about. How are you doing it?
That's the
And it's
question.
all about boundary and leadership, and no activity is not about, it's not about giving me a hack time block. No, it's actually a concept of removing what discredit us, sabotaging us from a behavior sense, knowing exactly what you're good at and what you want out of life, then trickle down to that desire zone. What I talk about is something you love to do and you're so good at. It's both, not one or the other. Because if it's just what you love to do, guess what? You might not be good at. Therefore, you're going to spend a lot more time in it, and you're not going to see your progress. And when we don't see our progress, what are we going to do? Feel discouraged, right? And that's a true distraction. And what about the other spectrum? When we are just good at something, right? Your friend tells you, Cheryl, you're so good at reviewing papers. And then you're like, oh yeah, it's not bad, right? Research, I can figure things out. But with time, if we don't love it, now we want to procrastinate. We slow down on our momentum. And that becomes what? Huge disinterest. Then we're stuck in there. And of course, the dead zone is neither or, right? So things you should definitely eliminate. But it's hard for all of us to realize, what do we really need to eliminate? The yeses and nos has to be super, super firm.
This is so powerful, Sabrina. I mean, everybody says knowledge is power. And now we are hearing applied knowledge is superpower. Sabrina has gained such a knowledge by her own experience. And now she is spreading that knowledge across the health professionals that despite of all challenges, despite of all busyness, because we know how busy health professionals are, they can still save their time and they can still be productive. In fact, super productive if they are applying the strategies taught by Sabrina mindfully. Awesome to know. So, what unique work you are doing, and what's your vision in your training, in your coaching? What unique way you teach people? Can you share insights in details?
Yes. So my 6-step system starts number 1 with redefining our motivation. It actually trickled down to asking the right question of what type of lifestyle we want to live and
Okay.
why do we want to live that way. And then attached to the emotional gain was your visualize you're already living in that sense. No longer asking ourselves, what do you want to do? Because all the doing part is what? Even you achieve the doing part, that's just a checkbox. And once you achieve that checkbox, then you're wondering, what's next? Is that it? Right? Just like many healthcare professionals, you work so hard to go to school. You work so hard to become attending or become a leader. Is that it? Like, is that automatically going to give you satisfaction or happiness? No. We have to see the bigger picture. What do we want to achieve? Then every step out of the way, we choose to do things we love and we enjoy, and we choose to be happy. So all these little tiny steps will bring us to that end goal. We can be super clear on the end goal and be flexible on the path. So we're not feeling so rigid. We have to get there at a certain point, or we have to be at a certain point, then we will be satisfied, right? The if then is what kills all of our
Right.
performance, right? So
Yeah.
what's next? How do you keep yourself motivated, right?
That's the
How do you
key.
keep yourself going? If you know what you wanted, then the motivation part comes about the who. What are the situation and the people that really you need to show up and bring your A game to? And why are you picking these people? When we're just working for ourselves, then our mind becomes fight, flight, we don't know what to do. But if you're thinking in the place of giving, right? The Dalai Lama
Yeah.
way of if you choose happiness, that means you're simply in the place of give and you're not expecting anything to come back. But that giving part need to be very intentional. There's a purpose attached to it. And therefore, you're going to relive that purpose, remind yourself what you already determined. Then it's easier to check in with yourself, to do a weekly reflection, to keep me moving forward. And now we know what we want.
Yeah.
We can keep going. Now,
Yes.
what's next? Master our psychology. What I call then is to reboot our mental immunity. So why mental immunity is so important? Because just as important as our fitness, we eat right, we need to exercise, and it's not once or twice, right?
No.
It's continuous.
Continuously.
Right. Our mind, doesn't matter your age, your gender, we can all optimize our mind, optimize the way we think, because there's so many roadblocks that can come to us. There always going to be something you feel like you have to put out fire. But how are you not be in that fight and flight state? You're going to be prepared. You know, in positive psychology, we call there are 9 sabotaging tendency and then the 5 stage of empowerment.
Okay.
Together, it's what's called PQ, positive quotient. So when Charu, you even mentioned
PQ, that is interesting. What's that?
So Charu, you mentioned knowledge part, right? Which is really good because we say that achievement is actually equation of your knowledge, right?
Yes.
Your IQ, your EQ, your
Q.
degrees, the experience, but that's only half the equation because you have to use it right. Now, what's the other half is PQ, positive intelligence. Why is positive intelligence, positive quotient matters? Is because no matter how happy you are to get that promotion, get a degree, it doesn't last that long due to we have a sabotaging tendency. The 9 sabotaging tendencies, some of the top ones for the ambitious people like us are controlling, You feel like you have to control every step. If you only do this way, therefore you can deliver this great result. And then other things, we feel like we have to be constantly doing something. So if you're constantly doing something, then you're actually lying to yourself. You're not allowing yourself to slow down to even reassess your progress. You're just wearing the busyness as a badge of honor instead of being true to your progress. Now, what's some other thing is that perfectionism. I have to get to a certain point. Otherwise, people don't see my value. Otherwise, and they won't appreciate me. But that's just a false, very subjective lie you created to your. If you don't even put things out there, how would anybody know your impact? You can't even measure it, right?
No.
So those like some of the ones. Now there are other ones like pleaser tendency, avoidance.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bunch of other one. But why it matters is that we train our brain to pivot, knowing these are just lies. They're not us, right? We are the happiness self. We're the empowered self. But these are the lies that put us down. If I can train my brain to do these exercises, then I can bring my crazy logical mind, shut that down, bring back to the limbic layer, right? Heighten one of our senses, enlighten our breath, our body, collaboratively push ourselves back into an empowerment state where you become more curious, exploratory, activating what you need to do instead of procrastinating, and also be more empathetic. But it's not just about being empathetic toward other people, but more importantly, be empathetic toward yourself, right?
Amazing.
That's the first 3 steps. Know what you need to do, what you need out of life, how to keep going, how you're going to show up as a player, then master your psychology. Now, what we need to do is knowing your energy, because without the proper energy, you're not going to do anything, right? We can teach you systems left and right, and you're going to be so tired and you can't even concentrate. Then what's the point, right? So we talk about there are 4 natural cycles of energy in human population. The early ones, the lions, the midday the bear, the night owl, which are called wolves, and then some people just never sleep, right? And they're the dolphins. So each category have about 2 to 3 hours of peak concentrated focus. So we have to leverage on those. And then the down energy, then we can plan what meetings, calls, exercise, and different activities boost your energy. And in between is about also bring back these neural remodulating exercise, what I call them the micro vacation, right? And so within 2 minutes, you can boost your focus right away. So if for anybody who's interested to do that audio training, I have one that actually also help you to brighten your vision, because we stare at computer way too much, right? So you can go to sabrinarumback.com/energy to grab a audio
We'll share the
exercise.
Link. Share the link. Yeah, share the link. We'll put it in the content. Do take a note, friends.
Yeah. And then next step, then after the first 4, then we can talk about rebooting your efficiency. Because now you know what you want. If you don't know what you want, then doing the efficiency part, it won't happen, right?
Makes no sense, yeah.
Make no sense. And now we also know you're not going to allow your sabotaging tendency to slow you down. And you also played into your advantage of where your energy cycle is, and you can quickly bring yourself back. Now we can talk about the desire zone, how to live in the desire zone. Once you understand the things you only should be doing are both what you love doing, right? Just in the flow, and things you're really good at, right? And when you're both of them, if it's not both, guess what? It's neither, then it should be automatically eliminated. If it's one or the other, then we have to create a focus funnel thinking, can I create some type of automation so it will just take care of itself? You don't have to put simple things like calendar, online calendar, building questions. So when people wanted to talk to you, you only have certain time of the day or week that allow people to get on your schedule. And they have to answer questions while they're being there with you. And these automation systems can also send a reminder. So people are not just not show.
I like
You
that
already
calendar.
set
Yeah, I
this.
saw those questions. So that is
Right,
interesting part and something new. And it
right.
will help definitely everybody to focus better way for whatever engagement is going to happen. And you can save so
Exactly.
much time.
Exactly. So then you're not going back and forth like, oh, can you
Yeah,
do this time? Can you do that time? And instead, those time can be completely eliminated, right?
very
And
true.
then the next step is delegation. Some people don't delegate because they are afraid, oh my gosh, if it will take longer, but not thinking that short time of teaching will give you long term saving your time. And the sabotaging tendency of controlling need to be removed, correct? Otherwise, we feel like, oh, we have to macromanage. That is not good for people, right? And they
Very
feel like it being put down almost, right? You don't trust them. So now we're thinking about elimination, automation, delegation,
delegation.
then it's back to us. If we can't do eliminate, automate, delegate, then we have to decide if I have to do this, do I do it now? Because it will produce me time. Means it's a big project that will trickle down in many great things down in
Very
life,
true.
or it's something that will rob me time. Means if I do this, even though it's just going to take me 5 to 10 minutes, but it's not going to produce me any great result. So that means when that comes, these things will have to put on the focus funnel and leave it for later assessment, right? So now we've gone to 5 steps. First, why do you want to live that way? What's the bigger picture? So then we have an internal compass guide us. Number 2, creating endless momentum by knowing how you're going to show up as
Yeah.
a player and who you need to be a player for. 3, master your psychology so you can get over all the roadblocks that are going to come into your life and you're no longer afraid. You have the courage to face them. 4, knowing your natural energy and how to constantly reboot them so you can be in the optimum position, not giving what's left of you, but the best of you. Then 5, understanding what is your desire zone and live in that 80% of the time. Then 6, step, when you have all this, you're doing it, you're going, that also means we can't be alone, right? And it's all about having the right people to your corner, creating that synergy. So we need to know how to attract people, be a magnet, be a talent magnet to attract the right people into our corner. There are 5 ways, and how not to accidentally diminishing those around us. So when you have the right people, you have to savor them. You also need to bring out the best in them, not just putting different ideas out to them and hoping things will just happen.
Wow, this is so powerful again. And it sounds like a self project. You take yourself as a project. And now you are bringing science and spirituality to my understanding together. And then you are being the best version of yourself. And it's a ladder, I suppose, one step at a time. And once you have clarity for yourself, things will change. Fantastic sharing, Sabrina. So, as a coach, when you empower health leaders, please share how you can bring the difference in your coach's life, and what other benefit. How have you seen they have been benefited? Can you share something about that?
I see that all my clients have been telling me the same thing is, wow, Sabrina, you just came into my life in the perfect time. I've been thinking about this, I've been hearing about this, but when you explained it, something clicked. I just needed to really show up for myself. And that's what I want people to really get to the point of you are there to show up for yourself and the better of those around you. I'm here as a guidance to bring out what's already genius within you.
You.
Now, sometimes we don't even see it clearly because we're too overwhelmed doing too many things. We might not ever think we can be burning out or we can be overwhelmed. We're maintaining, right? But then it's like the people who think they're well, they think they're okay, but there's no foundation to ground them. So what I see is people can get to a point even within one session and their performance are doubled.
Wow.
That's what I see. People become so honest themselves. right? We break down some of the walls. And when we talk about a one-on-one, there's no barrier, there's no judgment. You're not even going to judge yourself. And then people become more open. Now I have clients who couldn't even talk to their sisters for years because some odd difficulty they have created in their own mind. And the next week with me, they solved, right? The weight is completely lifted. And there's become more understanding, not only from your professional realm, but also personal. That's what I call having double weight, right? You can powerhouse in your career and person in life. And so for anybody who wanted to see, can you have a blueprint for yourself? Would I add any value to you or not? I'm happy to jump on a zero pressure call as well. And if you go to sabrinarambach.com/blueprint to see we can create a blueprint for you, there's also a segment from Fox News where I talk about the most recent study have shown the average age of burnout is 32 years old.
Oh,
and that is crazy. So
really
I talk about some of the strategies over there, and you can grab a time on the calendar below.
Wow, this knowledge has to reach out to as many, because it's not that you stop at that time. It's that about understanding yourself better. And then you are saying the performance is double. So that makes so much sense. Do check out the links, friends, in the content section, and visit Sabrina's website to know details about other things and book an appointment with her. So here's the last question, Sabrina. Please share some message with Women Lines audience.
I love the concept. This is what I always repeat for my clients and for all the show I go on. We have to say no to almost everything. Then we can say heck yes to the only things that truly matters and light us up in our life. And that is the ultimate definition of being so powerful whenever you say no, because no is a perfect sentence and no is new opportunity. And therefore, it allows you to say yes so powerfully as well, because you're sure now. You're exactly where you need to be when you say yes. So that's what I'm going to leave for all the ladies who's listening in. And of course, there are so many other resources out there. I'm also one of the 18 authors in a collaborative book initiative called Asian Women Who Boss Up. We just published the book in February and charted as bestseller in multiple countries and multiple categories. And we're also hosting a free event end of March. So for anybody who a free ticket, to just message me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I can connect you with a free ticket.
Wonderful. I love the definitions of no. Nobody thought about like new opportunity. And yes, it will be so powerful. And once you are aware about the main thing which you want to do, I think clarity comes itself. Awesome sharing, Sabrina. Thank you so much for sharing such wonderful insights with us. And I wish you all the best. And thank you for your time. Take care.
Thank you.